Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we're going to be talking about Synchrons. The Bond that Illuminates the Future skill gives a lot of options to a lot of decks. It enables things like Ursardics, the Signer Dragon like Theft deck, but it's interesting to take a look at what the Bond that Illuminates the Future skill does for Synchrons, the intended deck. And I've had a lot of fun experimenting with a few builds, and this one I think is probably one of my favorites. This is the Crystal Wing Stardust Warrior Turbo build. So, the skill, if you don't know. A bond that illuminates the future. Each of the following effects can be used once per duel. Send one Synchron monster or one level 2 Wind Warrior with 1000 or less attack from your hand to the graveyard, then add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand, and set one Synchro Chase from outside your deck. Send all monsters you control to the graveyard. If the total original attack of those monsters is 2500 or more, set 2 random Siren Dragons with different names out of 4 from outside your deck, and on turn 3 and onward you can return one Stardust Dragon from your field or graveyard to the extra deck, change all the levels of Synchro monsters you control to 2, and set a Lifestream Dragon from outside your deck. So, the first effect of the skill is the one that we care about. That's the one that's going to let us fix the graveyard and fix our field. We want to make sure that we have monsters in the graveyard that we can use to revive with our Junk Synchron, and we want to make sure that we have Junk Synchron in our hand. The second and third effect of the skill does mean that if the turn count gets to 3 or 4, and we have Junk Warrior in our hand, and the Synchro Chase on our field hasn't been destroyed, we're guaranteed to basically get lethal, because we can just go into Stardust Dragon, send it, bring out the 2 Siren Dragons, return the Stardust from the graveyard, get the Lifestream, and go into Quasar. For the main deck, we have Junk Synchron, level 3 Warrior Tuner monster. When it's normal summon, you can target one level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard. Special summon that targeted in defense position, but it has its effects negated. Doppel Warrior, level 2. When a monster is special summoned from the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. That is not once per turn, so you can do it as many times as you have Doppel Warriors in your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, you can special summon 2 Doppel Warrior tokens, level 1, in attack position. The second effect isn't that useful, but the first effect is amazing. Effect Failure, it lets you negate monster effects during your opponent's turn, which is really nice. Basically, your only way to protect yourself from an oppressive board when your opponent's going first. Junk Converter, you can discard this card and one tuner, add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. This is very important. We will typically use this to throw our Mono Synchron in the graveyard. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, you can target one tuner monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. So that is very important because it essentially allows us to get out both our Junk Synchron from the Synchro Chase and our Mono Synchron from the Junk Converter if we Synchro summon the Scarred Warrior, which is going to give us enough materials to get both Formula Synchron and Crystal Wing on the field at the same time. Mono Synchron. When using this card as Synchro material, the other Synchro materials must be level 4 or lower Warrior or Machine monsters, and they are treated as a level 1. So, we don't need any sort of level fixing. Mono Synchron provides it for us. If we use this with Doppel Warrior or we use it with Synchron Carrier, it will just become level 1, and then we can make Formula Synchron. Synchron Carrier. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Synchron monster in addition to your normal summoner set. If another Synchron monster is sent to your graveyard as Synchro material, while you control this card, you can special summon a token. So you never want to use the second effect, and that's important because if you are trying to use Synchron Carrier for your combo, the chain order goes like this. It'll go Synchro Chase, Chainlink 1. You say yes to that. Synchron Carrier, Chainlink 2. You say no to that. And then the Junk Converter will be Chainlink 3. So Synchron Carrier being on your field while you're trying to pull off this turn 1 play is actually really annoying, but I mean, it's an option if you don't have the Doppel Warrior. Just remember to say no to Synchron Carrier's effect every single time, and you'll be fine. MST, self-explanatory. This will get rid of a lot of threats. You could play Forbidden Lance if you prefer. I'm not really worried about it. I just like to pop back row so I don't have to worry about anything. Dark Hole is a great card for going second. Tuning, add one Synchron Tuner monster from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. This is very useful. We want as many chances to get Junk Converter in our graveyard as possible, so the just extra mill from tuning will sometimes get us cards in the graveyard that we didn't have there before. It's completely luck-based, but you can play as many tunings as you want per turn, so you can keep fishing for the right monster in your graveyard to pull off your combo. Lastly, Forbidden Chalice, just good overall removal. For the extra deck, we are running Shooting Quasar Dragon. It's required for the skill. You'll almost never summon it, but when you do, you will win the game. Stardust Warrior. 1 tuner Synchron monster plus 1 non-tuner Synchron monster. Either player's turn, if your opponent would special summon a monster, you contribute this card, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this face-up card leaves your field because of the opponent's card effect, you can summon 1 level 8 or lower Warrior Synchro monster from your extra deck. So, we make Stardust Warrior in the middle of our opponent's turn by using Crystal Wing and Formula Synchron as materials. And that is going to be amazing because it negates the special summon of an inherent card, like, for example, Speedroid Terratop. It negates Synchro summons, it negates Link summons, and it negates Xyz summons. So, it's a really, really strong card, and a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. Shooting Star Dragon, 1 tuner plus Stardust Dragon. Once per turn, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, shuffle them all back in. Also, this card's maximum number of attacks per battle phase this turn equals the number of tuner monsters excavated. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you can negate the effect, and if you destroy it. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares attack, you can target the attacking monster, banish this card, and if you do, negate the attack. During the next end phase, special summon the card banished by this effect. So, that's a lot. Shooting Star Dragon is a really good card. We're not really going to play it too much because we don't have that many uses for this card. If you make Stardust Dragon, you're usually trying to go into Quasar, but there are definitely situations where you don't want to clear your field. Like, you're just trying to go for some extra burst damage while you have good cards on the field and you don't want to get rid of them. So in that case, this does give Stardust some extension if you can bring the Formula Synchron back from your graveyard. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. I don't have to explain this card to you guys. It's been on my channel a ton. This is our ace monster, and we're going to be making it on turn 1 every game. Sometimes we will make the Formula Synchron with it, but if we can't, we will still have Crystal Wing. It's going to be a great card to interrupt the opponent's game. The way that you make it is you make Stardust Warrior, and then Synchro Chase brings back the Junk Synchron, and you combine that way. Stardust Dragon, this card is in here for the skill. Formula Synchron, this is a level 2 Synchro Tuner. When this card is Synchro Summoned, you can draw a card. That's really good. Once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can, immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro Summon using this card you control. So, you use this effect in response to your own Crystal Wing negating a card. And the reason why you do that is because that allows you to immediately bring out your Stardust Warrior while your opponent is not playing anything, because you're negating a monster effect. A chain has already been started. So your opponent's not playing anything. You are summoning your Stardust Warrior to negate their next special summon. And then, when the chain finishes, your Synchro Chase will immediately activate, and it will bring your Crystal Wing back to the field. And Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon's negate is a soft once per turn. So by removing Crystal Wing from the field and then special summoning it back, we get another use of Crystal Wing's negate. That is 2 monster negate and destroys, along with the negate of a special summon and destroy. That is a huge amount of resources for any player to deal with, and a lot of people just fold when they're trying to deal with this, as you'll see in the replay. Lastly, we are playing 2 copies of Stardust Warrior. It's just a level 5. You play it, you bring your Junk Synchron back, and then you get either Crystal Wing if you're going first, or if you're going third, then you make Stardust. And there you go. That's the deck. It's really simple. The combo lines are not all that simple, but you kind of figure it out as you play the deck. I was really lost the first time I tried this deck, but after playing it a few games, I got the use of it, and I started to look for the lines. So watch the replay, and let's see what you can do. Okay, we are going first against Magikey. Our opening hand is Dark Hole, which is dead. Doppel Warrior, that's pretty good. Tuning and Junk Converter. Okay, fantastic. We have our Junk Converter. So we're going to play Tuning, and we're going to draw our Mono Synchron. We milled our Synchro Carrier, which is pretty nice. So now we're going to activate Junk Converter's effect. We discard Mono Synchron to draw our Junk Synchron. Activate the skill. Discard Junk Synchron to set the Synchro Chase. Activate Synchro Chase. Normal summon Junk Synchron and bring back the Junk Warrior, the Junk Converter. Synchro into the Stardust Warrior. Synchro Chase brings back the Junk Warrior. Junk Converter brings back the Mono Synchron, and then when Mono Synchron gets summoned, Doppel Warrior can special summon itself from the hand, because the monster was special summoned from the graveyard. Doppel Warrior and Mono Synchron go together to make our Formula Synchron, and we draw 1 card. Then we synchro our Junk Synchron and our Scarred Warrior. Tuner plus a non-tuner synchro monster, that brings out Crystal Wing. Pass. Alright, so our opponent's turn. They activate Magic World, that's fine. Grab the Betos Buster. Normal summon the Manju, which we will negate, and then immediately after we negate it, we will also use Formula Synchron to combine. Here comes the Stardust Warrior. Negated and destroyed. Synchro Chase, bring back the Crystal Wing. Activates Advanced Ritual Art. Ritual summons the Betos Buster. Betos Buster effect, we negate that. Destroy it. And our opponent surrenders. There you go. So, very powerful, very consistent opening where you just dominate your opponent's turn. Multiple negates, ready to negate a special summon. This is extremely dangerous against Synchro decks, Link decks, and Xyz decks. My name is Srafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.